some luxury trends come back. This one came back from the dead. In 2026, elite collectors started quietly fighting over gemstone designs the jewelry world abandoned decades ago. Pieces once considered outdated, old-fashioned, even commercially undesirable, are suddenly reappearing inside high-end auctions and private collections. And the strangest part, several of these gemstones break almost every modern luxury rule. Darker stones are outperforming brighter ones. Imperfections are becoming more desirable. Tiny handcrafted details are suddenly worth fortunes again. Something changed inside the collector market, and it started inside the world of Art Deco jewelry. Don't forget to press and hold that like button, leave a comment, and hit subscribe before we begin. Ranked 10th, Black Onyx. For decades, black onyx was treated like a relic from another era. Too dark for modern luxury, too minimal for high jewelry, too closely tied to vintage cigarette cases, jazz clubs, and the geometric glamour of the 1920s. And for years, collectors quietly moved on. Bright sapphires dominated showcases. Colombian emeralds captured headlines. Even opals and moonstones began reclaiming luxury attention, while black onyx sat almost untouched inside antique stores and estate collections. But in 2026, something unexpected is happening around Art Deco jewelry. Black onyx is returning, not loudly, not through celebrity hype or viral trends, but through the slow, deliberate world of luxury collectors, vintage dealers, and high-end designers searching for something modern. Jewelry has started losing visual identity, because few gemstones capture the spirit of Art Deco more perfectly than black onyx. Under soft museum lighting, the stone creates a completely different atmosphere from diamonds or brightly colored gems. The deep black surface absorbs light instead of exploding with sparkle. Platinum edges suddenly look sharper. Geometric patterns appear bolder. Even small pieces begin to feel architectural. That quiet elegance is exactly what collectors are chasing again, especially in New York, London, and Paris auction circles. Vintage onyx jewelry from the Art Deco era has started appearing more frequently beside far more expensive stones. And in some cases, buyers are paying surprising premiums for pieces with strong original craftsmanship and untouched settings. But the comeback is not really about rarity alone. It is about contrast. After years of oversized brilliance, ultra-clean diamonds, and highly polished luxury aesthetics, many collectors have started gravitating toward jewelry that feels older, moodier, and more sophisticated. Black onyx delivers something modern. Gemstones often cannot. Restraint. A well-preserved Art Deco onyx ring does not demand attention instantly. It pulls attention slowly. The longer it sits under light, the more powerful the design becomes. That psychological effect is extremely difficult to recreate with modern jewelry trends focused almost entirely on sparkle and size. And perhaps that is why luxury fashion houses have quietly started bringing black onyx back into high-end collections once again, not as nostalgia, as timeless design. Because in the world of Art Deco gemstones, some stones were never truly forgotten. They simply waited for taste to catch up with them again. And the next gemstone on this list may be even more surprising, because collectors are now paying premium prices for diamonds that modern grading standards would once have rejected completely. Ranked 9th, Old European Cut Diamonds. A century of diamond marketing created one powerful idea: the cleaner the diamond, the more valuable it becomes. For years, luxury buyers chased laser precision, perfect symmetry, and flawless brilliance under bright showroom lighting. Jewelers treated mathematical perfection like the final evolution of the diamond industry. Anything less became old-fashioned almost overnight, which makes the sudden return of old European cut diamonds in 2026 feel almost irrational. Because these stones break nearly every modern rule. The tables are smaller, the symmetry is softer, the sparkle is slower. Even the facet alignment can appear uneven under magnification, and yet elite collectors are now hunting them again with growing intensity, not despite those imperfections, because of them. Inside high-end Art Deco jewelry, old European cut diamonds create a visual atmosphere modern stones rarely reproduce. Instead of producing sharp flashes of white brilliance, the light rolls across the surface in slower pulses that feel warmer, deeper, and strangely alive under low lighting. That difference becomes almost hypnotic in vintage platinum settings from the 1920s and 1930s, especially at evening auctions. Under soft amber lighting, many modern diamonds can start looking nearly identical. But old European stones behave unpredictably. Tiny shifts in movement create broad flashes instead of machine-like sparkle patterns. The diamonds feel handcrafted because they were handcrafted, and collectors are starting to crave that human fingerprint again. Not long ago, many dealers considered these cuts outdated enough to replace. Antique Art Deco rings were often stripped of their original stones and upgraded with modern, brilliant cuts in an attempt to increase resale value. Now some experts believe those alterations destroyed part of the jewelry's historical identity, because the comeback is no longer centered around technical perfection. It is centered around emotional authenticity. That shift is becoming increasingly visible across luxury auctions and estate jewelry markets, where untouched Art Deco pieces featuring original old European cuts are drawing far stronger attention than expected. In some cases, buyers are competing more aggressively for original craftsmanship than for higher clarity grades. That reversal would have sounded absurd 20 years ago. But modern luxury psychology is changing. After decades of ultra-perfect jewelry saturation, many collectors have started gravitating toward objects that feel rarer emotionally, not just scientifically. Slight asymmetry now signals age. Softer brilliance signals history. Hand-cut imperfections signal authenticity. And authenticity has quietly become one of the most powerful luxury currencies of 2026. But diamonds are not the only forgotten Art Deco stones disappearing back into elite collections. Because one deep green gemstone on this list is moving through private auctions so quietly that most buyers never even see the bidding happen. Ranked 8th, Jadeite Cabochons. Some luxury trends arrive loudly. Jadeite did the opposite. No major advertising campaigns revived it. No celebrity obsession pushed it back into public conversation. Most modern jewelry buyers still associate jade with antique shops, family heirlooms, or traditional carvings hidden behind glass displays. Meanwhile, something very different has been unfolding behind private auction doors. Over the last few years, high-grade Art Deco Jadeite Cabochons have started attracting a level of collector attention few outside elite jewelry circles fully noticed. Not because the stones suddenly became new, but because exceptional examples became painfully difficult to replace. That shift accelerated dramatically entering 2026, especially when original Art Deco settings remained intact. The combination matters more than many people realize. During the Art Deco era, Jadeite was transformed into something radically different from its traditional image. Designers in Paris, New York, and Hong Kong began pairing smooth green cabochons with platinum geometry, Calibré-cut accents, black enamel, and sharply structured lines that turned jade into modernist luxury. The result felt controlled, elegant, and unusually architectural. Even today, many of those designs still look ahead of their time. Collectors know that, and once serious buyers start competing for surviving examples, availability changes very quickly. Unlike diamonds, exceptional jadeite does not dominate through sparkle. The stone creates presence through depth. Under soft lighting, the green translucency appears almost suspended beneath the surface, producing a calm glow that feels understated compared to modern high jewelry trends built around aggressive brilliance. That restraint is becoming increasingly attractive to collectors exhausted by hyper-polished luxury aesthetics, particularly among buyers seeking jewelry that feels rarer emotionally, not simply rarer geologically. And the strongest Art Deco Jadeite pieces carry another advantage. Modern jewelry cannot easily recreate historical continuity. The stone, the craftsmanship, and the design language all belong to the same vanished era. Nothing feels replaced, nothing feels updated for resale. That authenticity has started carrying enormous weight inside elite collector markets where untouched provenance can influence demand almost instantly. Some auction specialists have already described certain Jadeite Art Deco pieces as disappearing inventory. Once acquired, they rarely circulate publicly again. Many move directly into private collections where they may remain unseen for decades, which creates a strange psychological effect around the gemstone itself. The less visible these pieces become, the more desirable they appear to serious buyers. And in luxury collecting, invisibility can sometimes generate more obsession than exposure ever could. Far away from auction rooms, however, another forgotten Art Deco gemstone is returning through an entirely different force. Not secrecy, not rarity, but a level of craftsmanship modern production houses struggle to imitate consistently anymore. Ranked 7th, Calibré-Cut Rubies. Most collectors notice the gemstone first. Experienced collectors notice the cutting. That difference is becoming extremely important in the Art Deco market of 2026, especially around Calibré-Cut Rubies, tiny, precisely shaped stones once considered too labor-intensive for modern jewelry production to continue using at a serious level. For decades, many luxury houses quietly moved away from true calibré work. The reason was simple. It demanded extraordinary patience. Unlike standard gemstone cuts produced in consistent shapes, Calibré-Cut rubies were individually carved to fit exact positions inside geometric Art Deco designs. Slight curves, narrow channels, sharp corners, and mirrored patterns required stones to align with near-perfect precision. A single mismatch could disrupt the entire visual structure of a bracelet, brooch, or platinum case. The process was slow, expensive, and increasingly difficult to justify in an era dominated by mass luxury production. That decision created an unexpected consequence. Original Art Deco calibré craftsmanship became dramatically harder to replace. Collectors started realizing that many surviving pieces represented something modern. Jewelry rarely delivers anymore, visible evidence of elite handwork. Under magnification, the tiny irregularities reveal human adjustment rather than machine-perfect repetition. The rubies feel integrated into the architecture itself instead of simply attached to the surface. That distinction changed how serious buyers viewed these pieces entering 2026. The jewelry no longer functioned purely as decoration. It became proof of a disappearing technical skill. Auction specialists have already seen stronger demand for untouched Art Deco ruby pieces containing original calibré settings, particularly examples where the geometric flow remains fully intact. Even small restorations can reduce collector excitement because authenticity now carries enormous psychological value in vintage jewelry markets. And calibré work creates a type of authenticity modern manufacturing struggles to imitate convincingly. The irony is almost impossible to ignore. For years, these rubies were overshadowed by larger center stones. Buyers focused on diamonds, emeralds, sapphires, and carat weight, while the smallest details inside the jewelry received little attention. Now those same details are becoming part of the obsession. Not because the rubies themselves suddenly became rarer, because the craftsmanship surrounding them did. In many ways, calibré-cut Art Deco jewelry represents a luxury philosophy, modern production abandoned long ago. Investing enormous time into details most people would never consciously notice. Collectors notice now, And once craftsmanship becomes impossible to mass reproduce, the surviving originals stop behaving like ordinary jewelry entirely. They start behaving like artifacts. Ranked 6th, black opals. Runway jewelry rarely brings back quiet stones. It brings back stones that change the room. That is exactly why black opals are suddenly becoming dangerous again in luxury fashion circles. For years, these gemstones were treated as too unpredictable for modern high jewelry. Too moody, too colorful, too difficult to control beside the clean diamond minimalism that dominated so many collections. But fashion rarely stays minimal forever. By 2026, the appetite has shifted. Collectors and designers are moving back toward jewelry with drama, identity, and instant visual electricity. Not pieces that simply match an outfit. Pieces that interrupt it. Black opals do that immediately. A single stone can flash green, crimson, violet, and electric blue within seconds, depending on how the light strikes its surface. That unstable color play makes the gemstone feel alive, almost performative. Exactly the kind of visual behavior luxury fashion loves when it wants a statement without using oversized design. Art Deco settings make that effect even stronger. The black body tone of the opal sits naturally beside platinum, enamel, and sharp geometric frames. Instead of looking chaotic, the stone becomes controlled drama. The architecture holds the fire in place. That contrast is what gives vintage Art Deco black opal jewelry its power. Wild color, trapped inside disciplined design. For a long time, that intensity made the stones feel niche. Now it makes them feel current again. After years of polished sameness, fashion buyers are responding to gemstones that cannot be duplicated perfectly. Every black opal pattern behaves differently. Some burn like stained glass, some flash in narrow electric lines, some shift from quiet darkness to explosive color with one movement of the wrist. That unpredictability creates an emotional reaction. Modern luxury has struggled to manufacture, and serious collectors know original Art Deco examples carry more than visual impact. They carry period taste. The 1920s obsession with contrast, glamour, and theatrical elegance. A black opal ring from that era does not just look colorful. It looks designed for entrances, evening light, velvet rooms, and attention that arrives without asking. That is why demand feels different in 2026. It is not only a gemstone comeback, it is a style comeback. Black opals are returning because luxury fashion has started wanting danger, mystery, and personality again. In a market crowded with safe beauty, their greatest strength is that they refuse to behave politely.
Ranked 5th, Moonstones. Moonstones never competed like diamonds. They never exploded with brilliance across showroom lighting. They never dominated auctions through size, fire, or flawless clarity. Compared to emeralds, sapphires, and black opals, Moonstones spent decades feeling almost too quiet to matter in serious luxury conversations. And that softness is exactly what brought them back. Because by 2026, many collectors are no longer searching for gemstones that scream for attention. They are searching for atmosphere. Moonstones create atmosphere better than almost any Art Deco gemstone on this list. Under low lighting, the stone produces a floating internal glow, known as a dualiscence, a pale shimmer that drifts beneath the surface like moving fog trapped inside crystal. The effect feels slow, cold, and strangely unreal, especially in antique Art Deco settings, where platinum lines and geometric symmetry sharpen the softness surrounding the glow. That contrast became one of the defining reasons collectors started paying attention again. Not loudly, almost privately. Unlike modern luxury trends driven by visibility and status signaling, Moonstones began returning through emotional response. Buyers spent time around exceptional vintage pieces and reacted instinctively. The jewelry felt calming, cinematic, even slightly mysterious in ways modern high-polished gemstones rarely achieve anymore. And Art Deco designers understood exactly how to use that effect. Rather than overpowering Moonstones with excessive ornamentation, Many Art Deco jewelers frame them carefully inside dark enamel, diamonds, and platinum structures that amplified the floating blue-white glow instead of competing with it. The result created jewelry that looked almost illuminated from within under evening light. Even now, many pieces still feel visually modern. That timelessness is becoming increasingly valuable as collectors drift away from luxury aesthetics that feel overproduced or emotionally empty. Moonstones behave differently because their beauty unfolds slowly. The gemstone does not dominate attention instantly. It pulls viewers closer over time. That psychological pacing matters, especially in a luxury market saturated with aggressive brilliance and visual overload. Collectors have started responding to gemstones that feel intimate rather than performative. And exceptional Art Deco moonstone pieces deliver exactly that sensation. Jewelry that creates fascination without needing spectacle. In many ways, moonstones are returning because modern luxury became too loud. The calm glow suddenly feels rare again. And once a gemstone begins offering emotional rarity instead of just geological rarity, collector behavior changes very quickly. Some stones impress a room immediately. Moonstones stay in memory long after the room is gone.
Ranked 4th, Emerald-Cut Aquamarines. Large Art Deco aquamarines are becoming uncomfortable to replace. That realization has started spreading quietly through high-end jewelry circles as more collectors search for original emerald-cut stones from the 1920s and 1930s and discover how few exceptional examples are still available in untouched condition. Because the problem is no longer beauty, the problem is scarcity. During the Art Deco era, jewelers had access to remarkable aquamarine crystals large enough to produce sharply cut geometric stones with extraordinary clarity and icy blue transparency. Designers used those gemstones aggressively. Cocktail rings, platinum bracelets, brooches, and evening jewelry often featured aquamarines cut into dramatic rectangular forms that reflected the architectural obsession of the Deco movement perfectly. Today, recreating that same visual impact has become increasingly difficult, not impossible, but increasingly unrealistic at the highest level. Collectors entering the market in 2026 are starting to recognize that many surviving Art Deco aquamarines represent a combination. Modern luxury rarely delivers simultaneously anymore. Significant size, elegant proportion, period craftsmanship, and unusually clean natural material existing together in one piece. That convergence is becoming harder to source every year, especially because many original Art Deco aquamarines were later redesigned, recut, or broken apart as jewelry trends evolved through different decades. Entire pieces disappeared. Stones lost their original settings. Platinum frameworks were melted down. The surviving examples that remained untouched slowly became a shrinking category of their own. And once collectors realize something is not easily replaceable, urgency changes behavior fast. Auction specialists have already noticed stronger competition surrounding original emerald-cut aquamarine jewelry, carrying clear Art Deco geometry and verified provenance. Even buyers who traditionally focused on diamonds or sapphires have started drifting toward exceptional aquamarines because the visual experience feels increasingly uncommon in modern luxury collections. The stones create a very specific type of elegance: cold, controlled, almost architectural under light. Unlike gemstones driven by explosive brilliance or intense saturation, aquamarines project restraint through scale and clarity. The clean blue transparency feels calm from a distance, then unexpectedly powerful once the geometric cutting begins reflecting movement across the surface. Art Deco designers understood exactly how to weaponize that effect. Long platinum lines, mirrored symmetry, and oversized emerald cuts transformed aquamarines into statements of sophistication without relying on visual chaos. The jewelry looked expensive without appearing desperate to prove it. That quiet confidence is becoming deeply attractive to modern collectors exhausted by louder luxury trends, And the longer exceptional Art Deco Aquamarines disappear into private collections, the more difficult the market becomes for buyers still searching for museum-level examples. Some gemstones return because fashion changes. Others return because collectors suddenly realize they waited too long. Ranked third, French-cut sapphires. Most people never notice French-cut sapphires. That is precisely the point. Unlike oversized center stones designed to dominate attention instantly, French-cut sapphires operate through precision hidden inside the structure of Art Deco jewelry itself. Thin lines of deep blue geometry, sharp corners embedded into platinum frameworks, small flashes of controlled color guiding the eye through bracelets, vanity cases, cigarette holders, and architectural ring designs from the 1920s and 1930s. To casual buyers, they look decorative. To serious collectors, they signal elite craftsmanship immediately. Because true French-cut sapphire work is extraordinarily difficult to execute cleanly. The stones require sharp angular alignment that exposes even the smallest inconsistency. One incorrect angle can break the symmetry of an entire design. During the height of the Art Deco movement, master jewelers used these sapphires almost like visual engineering tools, building razor-sharp patterns that made platinum settings appear even more precise and luxurious under light. Modern production rarely approaches that level consistently anymore. Not because it is impossible, because it is inefficient. That inefficiency is becoming valuable again in 2026. Collectors have started placing increasing importance on jewelry, displaying technical refinement invisible to inexperienced buyers. French-cut sapphires fit perfectly into that psychology because they reward attention. The longer someone studies an exceptional Art Deco piece, the more sophisticated the craftsmanship begins to reveal itself. That delayed appreciation creates a different type of luxury experience. Not loud status, insider recognition. And insider recognition carries enormous power inside elite collector circles. Auction specialists have already seen stronger interest surrounding untouched Art Deco sapphire pieces, where original French-cut layouts remain fully intact. In some cases, buyers care less about total gemstone size and more about the precision of the line work itself, especially when the sapphires maintain the crisp geometric flow that defined high-level deco design. That shift says something important about modern luxury psychology. Collectors are becoming increasingly attracted to objects that feel selective rather than obvious. Jewelry that signals knowledge instead of spectacle. French-cut sapphires achieve that naturally because most people overlook them entirely unless they understand what they are seeing, which makes owning them feel almost private. The effect becomes even stronger under evening lighting, where the deep sapphire blue sharpens platinum geometry without overpowering it. Instead of dominating the jewelry, the stones discipline it. Every angle appears cleaner. Every line feels more intentional. That level of restraint is becoming rare in contemporary luxury design. And rarity inside collector culture does not always come from visibility. Sometimes it comes from the ability to recognize something others never even notice was valuable in the first place. Ranked second, rock crystal quartz. Nothing about rock crystal quartz sounds luxurious at first. It is not rare like emeralds, not fiery like opals, not prestigious like diamonds or sapphires. For decades, many collectors viewed quartz as little more than decorative material. Beautiful, perhaps, but far removed from the upper tier of serious gemstone culture. In modern jewelry markets obsessed with rarity and saturation, transparent quartz seemed almost too common to deserve real attention. That assumption is exactly what makes the Art Deco comeback so fascinating, because the value of these pieces was never created by the gemstone alone. It was created by transformation. During the 1920s and 1930s, Art Deco designers began treating rock, crystal quartz less like a traditional gemstone and more like a sculptural medium. Large, transparent sections were carved, engraved, layered, beveled, and combined with platinum, diamonds, black enamel, and Calibré-Cut stones to produce jewelry that looked almost architectural under light. The effect was unlike anything else in luxury design at the time. Cold, sharp, almost futuristic. Even today, exceptional Art Deco quartz pieces still feel visually modern because the transparency changes how the jewelry interacts with light and structure. Instead of dominating the eye through color, rock crystal amplifies geometry itself. Every angle appears cleaner. Every line feels deeper. Reflections multiply inside the carving, creating a layered visual depth many colored stones cannot achieve. Collectors have started rediscovering that effect in a major way entering 2026, especially as luxury buyers drift toward craftsmanship-driven collecting rather than pure gemstone hierarchy. The best Art Deco quartz jewelry demonstrates extraordinary technical confidence because imperfections become immediately visible inside transparent material. There is nowhere for bad design to hide. That vulnerability became part of the prestige. Master jewelers understood it. Collectors understand it now. Auction specialists have already seen increasing interest surrounding untouched quartz vanity cases, carved bracelets, deco pendants, and geometric crystal cigarette accessories where original craftsmanship survived intact. Some buyers describe the finest examples less like jewelry and more like functional sculpture from a vanished design civilization. And unlike many modern luxury pieces engineered for instant attention, Art Deco quartz rewards slow observation. Details emerge gradually through reflections, engraving depth, and shifting transparency under movement. The longer someone studies the piece, the more complex it becomes visually. That experience feels increasingly rare in modern luxury culture, especially in a market overloaded with obvious status symbols. By 2026, rock crystal quartz is no longer returning because people forgot what it was. It is returning because collectors finally remembered what great designers once turned it into. In first place, Colombian emeralds in Art Deco settings. The forgotten Art Deco, gemstones, triggering quiet collector wars. In 2026, some Art Deco jewelry still enters auctions. The most important pieces barely make it there at all. Long before public catalogs appear, certain collectors already know which emeralds are moving privately between dealers, estates, and elite buyers operating inside a level of the market most people never see. And in 2026, no forgotten Art Deco gemstone is creating more silent competition than Colombian emeralds preserved inside original Deco settings. Because collectors are no longer chasing the emerald alone, they are chasing survival. Exceptional Colombian emeralds from the Art Deco era carry multiple layers of rarity simultaneously. The gemstone itself may already be difficult to replace due to color, clarity, origin, and size. But once that emerald still exists inside untouched platinum geometry, from the 1920s or 1930s, the entire piece transforms into something far more dangerous in collector culture. A disappearing historical object. That realization has changed buyer behavior dramatically. For decades, many vintage emerald pieces were altered as jewelry styles evolved. Stones were reset, mountings were modernized. Original Deco structures disappeared permanently in the pursuit of trend updates and resale flexibility. Every redesign quietly reduced the number of surviving pieces carrying authentic period craftsmanship intact. Now the market is reacting to that loss. Collectors entering elite Art Deco auctions have started competing aggressively for emerald jewelry, retaining original architecture, provenance, and natural aging details untouched by excessive restoration. Tiny signs of authenticity that once lowered commercial appeal are now increasing emotional and historical value instead. That reversal says everything about where luxury psychology is heading. Modern buyers are becoming less obsessed with perfection and more obsessed with irreplaceability. And few gemstones feel more irreplaceable than Colombian emeralds under Art Deco lighting. The effect is unmistakable. Deep green saturation flowing through sharp platinum geometry creates a level of visual authority almost impossible to fake convincingly. Unlike louder gemstones built around spectacle, emeralds command attention through density and presence. The color feels heavy, controlled, almost intimidating under evening light. Art Deco designers amplified that effect intentionally. Long mirrored lines, black enamel accents, and disciplined symmetry gave emeralds a colder, sharper elegance than many modern settings achieve today. The jewelry looked expensive without appearing decorative, powerful without appearing excessive. That balance has become extraordinarily attractive again in 2026 as luxury collectors move away from disposable trend culture and back toward objects carrying permanence, identity, and historical gravity. And once buyers begin viewing certain jewelry pieces as cultural survivors instead of accessories, the market changes permanently. Because at the highest level of Art Deco collecting, ownership is no longer about possession alone. It is about securing something the future may never allow to exist again in quite the same way. Art Deco gemstones were never supposed to come back like this. But in 2026, collectors are chasing the very pieces luxury markets once ignored. Not for perfection, but for craftsmanship, atmosphere, and originality modern jewelry struggles to recreate anymore. And the deeper the market moves into vintage Art Deco design, the clearer one thing becomes. Some forgotten gemstones never lost their value. The world simply stopped paying attention for a while.